They were recruited right out of school and trained as operatives until the psychic testing. That had been a huge mistake, and all of his family had followed him, as they always did. Force recon, special forces, psychic testing where they'd all come back together, just like on the street. More specialized training, SEAL training, urban war games, even more specialized training until they were pretty much killing machines. They'd stuck together and knew each other's every move. They trusted one another and no one else, not in the business they were in. Well, with the exception of the new kid. But that was a whole other story. It was no good thinking about that right now, not when he was surrounded with the ones he loved, leading them into a situation that was explosive at the very least. Mack signaled for the others to pull down their night goggles, making it easy to see in the blackness of the night. He and Kane didn't need them. They could both see in the dark as easily as during the day. A result of the experiments they'd lent themselves to. Stupid, but they'd done it for the good of the country and their need for a home. Yeah, he knew the psychological bullshit everyone spouted. It was probably all true, too. But he didn't much care. It was also one hell of an adrenaline rush. Still, he waited, hesitating before signaling his team forward. His men were coiled and ready. He had a bad feeling, deep in his gut, and he never discounted his instincts. Something wasn't quite right, but he couldn't put his finger on it. "What is it, Top?" Kane questioned, using the telepathic communication they'd perfected as children, and which the military had enhanced when they volunteered for the psychic GhostWalker program. "Something's wrong." Not wrong, maybe. Just not right. How the hell could he explain that strange kick in his belly? "I feel it too, but I'm not sure what's out of sync here." There was another long moment of silence. "Abort?" Kane asked. Mack took a breath, let it out. "No, but let's all be very cautious." Of the 8 of them, only the new kid, the sergeant major, had insisted they add to their team, couldn't communicate telepathically. Telepathy had been the common denominator that had drawn them together on the streets. They were all different, and they'd all recognized the psychic gift in one another. Mack had been the acknowledged leader, and Kane had always had his back. He glanced at the man and saw he was doing what Kane did best, searching the huge warehouse with his strange eyes. He could, if he wanted, see right through the wood and metal to the heat inside, a gift from Whitney and his experiments. Unfortunately, if he used that special gift, he paid for it with blindness for several minutes after, rendering it an extremely dangerous talent to use in the field. There were several new abilities in all of them. Animal DNA, a new genetic code. They hadn't signed on for that kind of experiment, but when they'd woken up, they'd been changed for all time. Kane kept from trying to look through the walls and used his enhanced sight to detect movement only. Mack signaled his men forward. It took minutes to bypass the alarm on the side entrance door, far longer than it should have. The alarm was too complicated for a wharf warehouse. Who put together a sophisticated triple alarm system so complex it took Javier, his best tech, precious time to unravel it? "We've got ourselves a pro system here, boss," Javier said. "One I've never seen before. Whoever put this mother together knew what they were doing." There was frank admiration in his tone. "No activity in the lower warehouse that I can spot, Mack," Kane said. "I can't detect heat on the second floor either, but someone's on the third floor." Just one person? That made no sense. Just one. Mack moved first, his brain more reluctant than his body. He rolled inside the door of the first floor under a tripwire and crawled military fashion beneath the maze of track beams. The entire room was empty, deserted, with the exception of scattered building materials here and there. The sophisticated alarm system seemed ridiculous. Something was nagging at the back of his mind, refusing to leave him alone. Where are the sentries, Kane?